Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the media strategy, which is where you were focused on earlier. So what is the right media strategy for taking on these large brands?
So again, I think the right media strategy is you first have to do really understand what your budget is based on the profitability of your products and your brand. So one exercise that we do with a lot of our brands where they have a larger catalog is we actually take a look at their profitability by product, and then we then calculate what the max tacos would be for each product, where it would be a break even. And so that way we're not losing money. The big thing with Amazon as a small brand is you can't afford to lose money, right? Like we're all here to have a profitable business. And I think a lot of businesses can hurt themselves by having this mentality of, oh, well, we just have to lose money for this for 6 months. And by doing that, you can get to month 7 and 8 and you're still losing money. And then you fundamentally are in trouble. So knowing first how much you can afford to spend. Then, in my opinion, it's really focusing on the long tail keywords that you have the ability to gain SEO ranking in, as well as having high conversion rates for paid search. And then you'll want to start to look at the data too, depending on the type of product you have, and looking at the LTV, the lifetime value of your Amazon customer. So if you're a consumable, you'll want to have an understanding of, how often are customers coming back, what percent of customers that bought my product the first time come back within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Because by having a view on the LTV, you can then start to up your budgets and be able to lean into advertising even more at what wouldn't necessarily be profitable on an individual transaction, but what would be profitable from an LTV perspective. Because you still do need to be aggressive, especially if you're first starting out, in gaining some type of market share.
So how do you track your customer purchases on Amazon, since this really is Amazon's customer, it's not your customer, and you don't have a customer ID like you would have in your own system. So how do you stay on top of that?
So my company, we've developed our own proprietary Amazon Analytics suite called My Horizons, which we use for our clients. And through that, we are able to calculate LTV specifically to that Seller Central account. Where things can be a little tricky, of course, is if there's third-party sellers. We obviously don't have access to that data. But, as long as you're owning the buy box and you've been selling on Amazon for at least 12 months, we'll be able to have a really good view of what your LTV is.
I see. So it's something that you have in-house, and it's based on, so what if the buy box is shared by multiple sellers, then the calculations become not so reliable? Is that the case?
Correct. Yes, because a customer could buy from a third-party seller, and then the second time they buy from you, there's no way to truly know if that same customer actually purchased from that third-party seller, which is all the more reason why it's so important to own your buy box and distribution.
So you are able to track the sales by customer IDs at the end of the day. That's what you are able to do. Okay. I mean, for our listeners' benefit, we want to give them the methodology, so to speak. So at the end, what you're looking to do is how many times does the same customer buy from you and how much money they spend.
Correct.
So, and then, before they buy again, is it 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, or whatever? Then over the course of X number of years, you say that this customer is going to spend this much money, and that's the value of that customer. And of course, that comes at no advertising, right?
Yeah, well, it depends, right?
Yes.
You can do DSP and other remarketing to increase that LTV. I think the other big call out as it pertains to LTV and repurchase rates is you can also look at it at the brand level or at the individual product level. So really understanding the customer journey, because there may be certain product types or catalog types where maybe you have a loss leader. So you have that product that brings the customer into your funnel, and then you remarket those customers to then buy other products in your catalog that are much more profitable. And that's something that we especially track with our CPG and beauty brands, is they usually have that one flagship product that they're known for. But then how do we get that customer to then try other products in their catalog and really deepen the relationship with that customer?
I see. Okay.
And so this can also be really important to non-consumables, right? Like let's say you sell kitchenware product and you sold dinner plates to a customer. You'll want to then, of course, try and bring them back and remarket them to get them to buy your glassware or your silverware or other products you have.
Mm-hmm. And how are you able to bring back an Amazon customer to your listing?
There's a few ways. The biggest one, of course, is DSP remarketing. And with DSP, which is demand side platform, which is essentially Amazon's display advertising, you can remarket those who have bought your product. You can remarket those who have simply viewed your product. And you could even remarket those that have viewed or purchased from competitors. And this is very helpful, again, for that more masstige or prestige price point, because now you can start to go after the customers that have shown a history or interest in spending at that price point, because the SERP is always going to be optimized for the lowest price because those have the highest conversion rate. And Amazon rewards you for the number of units you sell. They don't reward you based on the amount of revenue that a product generates.